Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Red Devils experience. Brighton 2, Manchester United 1. First loss of the season. Very disappointing. Very frustrating. We're going to get straight into it. We got player ratings, match reaction coming up. Let's just start off by saying that was absolutely crap. The way we lost this match. Uh, I need to try and compose myself a little bit because absolutely just super frustrated, super angry with the way we ended that match. I think we did some very good things in the first half. The second half, we just fell off as soon as the match went on longer and longer. I could see we were dying out. The team was getting tired. We were getting lazy. We were getting pulled out of position. We didn't have the shape anymore. And it was coming. It was coming. It was coming. I knew the next goal was going to win it for whoever scored it. I thought we scored it. Unfortunate for Xerxes. Many fans are obviously going to be frustrated at him about it. I hope he doesn't get too much hate for it. It was unfortunate. It's very, very annoying. Very, very stupid that we did that to ourselves pretty much. But yeah, I mean, same problems. Same problems, new season. We have work to do. There's improvements that we did throughout the match, and I'm gonna get on to that. But there's problems lingering on from last season, and those need to be addressed. They have to be addressed if we're gonna compete this season. We cannot continue on with these same problems that we had last season into this season. So far, they're still there. And we need to find out what we're gonna do about that stuff. Real quick before we continue, please smash the like button. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Get involved in the chat. And yeah, all that good stuff. So thank you guys for whoever's in here, whoever's watching. Greatly appreciated. So in the first half, quick recap. I think we made a couple good chances created. We lacked the clinical part again. We could have used more. We could have used more chances in the first half. We did create a little bit, but definitely needed more chances. But we did create a couple, and we just lacked that clinicalness again. But we were moving the ball around well. We had it was quick, lots of good one-touch passing, which I think that's the improvement that I've seen so far from last season. We seem a little bit more comfortable doing that, playing out of the back. We handled playing out of the back pretty well. I mean, there was a couple, one or two mistakes in the first half, under pressure, but from what I remember from last season to now, it seems like we're doing a little bit better. So, I think that's good. We still have work to do in that area. Definitely can be improved. Definitely can be a little bit quicker, a little bit more confident in what we're doing, in that part. But yeah, I mean, obviously, what happened at the end of the game has completely destroyed whatever we did here. Maguire, at fault twice for the goal. He had to deal with that ball when the ball came in. From the first time, had to deal with it. When the ball came in the second time, had to deal with it. Had two opportunities to deal with it, didn't deal with it, and we conceded a goal. I think that's to me it was a shit goal to concede. Both goals were shit goals to concede. The defending at times was good, and then the defending at time was absolutely piss poor. We were just lost. We didn't know what the hell was going on. I don't, that those things need to be addressed. You cannot play parts of the match where you look defensively sound and then all of a sudden you look defensively incapable. And those parts where we looked defensively incapable, we were defensively incapable, and we conceded 2 goals off of it. So, it was just absolutely ridiculous. United, for me, were the better team in the first half. I felt disappointed. We definitely, shouldn't have been losing, in my opinion. The way I felt, we had to take our chances, and it just wasn't up to the standard that we if we did a little bit more, we could have been leading. And I felt like we definitely shouldn't have been We shouldn't have been losing. We shouldn't have been losing. So, Lyle, how you doing, Lyle? How's everybody doing in the chat? How's it? Man, that game was just awful. I mean, it was awful because in the way we lost, what happened in the second half, the capitulation. We've seen it time and time again before, last season, and this is the problem. It's carried over from last season. So I don't know how we're gonna address that, but we need to address it, and also at the same time, um, you know, Erik Ten Hag taking off Bruno Fernandes to put on Scott McTominay. I in that situation, he got it wrong. He got it absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. In that situation, in that moment, we needed Bruno. He is the creator. And you put on Scott McTominay. And Scott McTominay did fuck all. So it was wrong. I think, I was happy that he substituted Garnacho and put on Garnacho for Marcus Rashford. I thought that was the correct decision. I think that was a decision that everybody wanted and agreed with, because Diallo, leveled it, and was playing well, and he was playing better than Marcus Rashford. And we've been saying that, Diallo has to start on the right, Garnacho on the left. So I was okay with that. Why Ten Hag has decided after 2 seasons going into the 3rd season that he was going to now finally choose to substitute Bruno Fernandes out of the match. Why he decided that it was going to be now, this game and this season, when we were tied, when we needed a goal, when we needed something to be created. And he decided to finally make the decision now. He's never substituted Bruno, not once. He's never taken him off the pitch, not once. And he's decided to do it in this game. I don't understand why. If we were up 2-0, maybe go ahead and do it. But with 3 points on the line, we're away from home. And the second half didn't really start going our way. I question it. And might I just add that, the midfield in the second half looked absolutely dead. Along with the rest of the team. We looked tired, and that led to the capitulation. And I worried about this in the first half. I really did worry about this in the first half because I saw the intensity of the pressing. I thought we were pressing well. And I just felt like that, how long can we keep this up? I was worried. I was worried about how long can we keep this up. And it was about 55, 60 minutes. And then we just fell off. Lyle saying, I would have understood taking Casemiro off and bringing on McTominay and drop Bruno deeper to allow those run-ins from Scott and Xerxes. And I think I agree. I completely agree with you, Lyle. There, I think that's I think what we're probably all going to be upset about, because Cass didn't play the greatest game overall, and his legs were absolutely gone at the end. And to take off Bruno Fernandes, to leave on Casemiro, and to put Scott up there, and then not really have a creative outlet except for maybe Garnacho and Diallo. But Diallo was pretty tired. I mean, even Garnacho looked tired, and he didn't even play, most of the match, and he came on as a substitute. But the amount of running that he did on the pitch, even he looked tired at some points, and I was a bit concerned. We just looked tired all over the pitch. We looked like we ran out of gas, and we did run out of gas. So, but definitely, I mean, for me, even though I don't consider McTominay a player to play in a holding midfield role or a box to box, even, I mean, he did get put in the position that he probably excels in the most. That was not the situation to do that move. Casemiro was dead. Casemiro was dead. And Lyle, I'm with you. I'm with you here as well. Erik ten Hag got it wrong today. He absolutely did. He got it wrong today. But Lyle's gone on to say, but I must say we need to focus on finishing our chances and with a clear goal from Diallo cross. Absolutely, and that's what I'm saying. Some of these problems have continued over from last season. The lack of clinicalness has hurt us once again. And again, repeats of multiple times in last season and the season before. We've hurt ourselves. We've technically beaten ourselves because we've let up 2 soft goals. We canceled our own goal after a beautiful play. And I understand, Xerxes didn't try to do it, and it was more of an unfortunate thing. But again, we've shot ourselves in the foot, and this has been a reoccurring theme for the past 2 seasons plus more. I mean, under Erik ten Hag, it's been here, but it's been before Erik ten Hag as well. So it was very, very. I mean, I'm rightfully just fucking pissed. I'm pissed that we've lost that match, because there was a large portion of that match where I really felt like we could have won it. We definitely could have won it. And we just fell off. We fell off. In the second half, Delo, we started off a little bit slow. Delo had a good goal line clearance. We could have easily went down 2-0. The ball was pretty much, about to be in the net if it wasn't for Delo. And Brighton started the second half stronger. Brighton got another chance, shortly after that. From a set piece, they smacked the bar, so they really started taking the second half went to them. Shortly after that, Diallo equalized. Great ball from Maz to Diallo down the wing. Diallo cuts in like he usually does, strong. Brave, taking on the Brighton defender, cut him up, takes the shot, deflection, and it goes into the net. But you have to take your chances, and he took his chance. He made himself a chance, took the chance. And however the ball goes in the back of the net, I don't really care. But he did it. He made it happen. So for that, I was happy. And I thought Delo was playing very, very well. At that point, it was around 60-something minutes. Delo was my man of the match so far at that point, the way he was playing. So, 64th minute, Garnacho came on for Rashford, which I thought, as I mentioned, the correct. It was the correct substitution, one that I wanted to see, one that I wanted to happen. 71 minutes was the offsides goal. That I couldn't believe that we did that to ourselves, because it was a beautiful play between Diallo, Bruno, and Garnacho. And I'm rightfully very, very upset that we fucked ourselves. We fucked ourselves. We ruined a beautiful goal. And we hurt ourselves, because you know what? Even if we had that goal and we capitulated the way we capitulated, we could have got at least a point out of it instead of getting 0. So, in the 75th minute, I did write, because I wrote some notes. 75th minute, I wrote, next goal wins this game, because that's how I felt. And I was right, because we couldn't get another one after we canceled our own goal, pretty much, or ruined our own goal. And Brighton came, and they ended up scoring late in the game, and that was it. Game over, done. 77 minute, I was saying our midfield looked absolutely gassed. De Ligt and McTominay came on, Bruno off, which totally surprised me, and Maguire off. So, yeah. So there's that. Lyle saying the Xerxes touch was super unlucky, man. Also, the Pedro goal, whole squad was on the right. What the fuck? Dude has Dude has days to decide where to head that ball. And that's also a very good point, Richard. Good to see you. How you doing? I'm guessing not too well, as me and Lyle are pretty pissed off right now. Um I mean, first Red Devil recap of the season here for us, and it's not a happy one, and it's not a good one. But otherwise, other than that, I hope you're doing well, Richard. But back to Lyle's point, you're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct in that the fact that the Xerxes touch was unlucky because see, here's the thing. I don't want people to give Xerxes hate for that. Xerxes was literally doing his job. It was super unlucky. I mean, Garnacho could have literally kicked the ball a half a centimeter over. I mean, I'm not blaming Garnacho. I'm just saying that there's the finest of margins that could have happened there. Garnacho could have literally, if he kicked it just to the left a little bit, probably would have went over the goal line instead of hitting Xerxes, and then the goal would have counted. I mean, at this point, we're talking a bunch of bullshit. Like, it is the most unfortunate thing, but this is a reoccurring theme that's been happening. There was multiple times that I could remember, from last season where we're playing a match. And the most unfortunate things happen. And it's just bad luck. It's really bad luck. And it's very frustrating because we need to figure out how to flip this into good luck. So, and then also as Lyle mentioned as well, which is a good point because I kind of forgot to discuss this, but the Pedro goal. This is what I'm saying. The whole squad, they lost shape. They were tired. They weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. The whole squad was up on the right side. Was up on the right side. That man could have had Pedro had a picnic. He could have closed his eyes and scored that damn goal. He was so open. You, Lyle, Richard, anybody in here could have scored that goal. That's how wide open he was. And that cannot happen. Cannot be allowed. That's absolutely poor. It was disgusting. And it's just a reoccurring theme. It's followed the same old story. So, Richard saying I'm going to the Liverpool game next week. How the fuck am I'm gonna go with confidence? Well, listen, Richard. I think there was moments in that game, in that match, that I think we played pretty well. I was pretty happy with some of the things. I think what happened, the second half was really concerning. And again, the couple concerns that I have is because in the first half, I think we pressed pretty well. I think we did well. And I already mentioned I was concerned with the level of pressing though, because I was concerned of how can we keep this up? How long can we keep this up in the match? And I think it came to bite us in the ass. Towards the end of the match, we got tired, we got careless, we got reckless, we got sloppy, and we ended up paying for it. But there was moments in that game, that I think we played pretty well. I think we played pretty well. I think there was a lot of good one-touch passing, intent to go forward. We didn't go backwards too much. And it was good on certain moments. So I'm not 100% worried against Liverpool. Up until the part that we don't have substitutes, and I think this is why Ugarte is being stressed because that midfield was dead. And we didn't have enough to do. And as you're mentioning, Richard, why did we take Mount off? And, Danny Welbeck scoring. Well, Danny Welbeck scored because Maguire had 2 opportunities to deal with the ball, and that is his job. When that ball comes into that box, you deal with that fucking ball. You deal with that ball. No matter how you deal with it, you deal with it. And, I think it was just something that, why did we take, that's what I was going to say. So the problem that we had is that, we obviously did start Bruno and Mount. And you want Xerxes to maybe come on to try and get a goal or something. And that's probably the problem as well, is because you're going to keep on Bruno, you're going to keep You're gonna keep Bruno on, obviously. And to put Xerxes on, you're gonna have to take off one of a Bruno or Mount. Now the problem with that is that when you take Mount off, you can't put Mount on. When we probably needed Mount on later, um, especially if you're taking off Bruno Fernandes to put on Scott McTominay. I'd rather take off Bruno Fernandes to put on Mason Mount. Um, so we did get a bit fucked there. It just it was a little bit poor decisions today. Definitely from Erik Ten Hag. Shit that surprised me. I didn't think he would do something like that. I didn't really understand why he did some of the things he did. Um, I've lost everything here. Okay. So, Erik Ten Hag has 2 games now this season to figure out where we are lacking. He has to see what we are seeing. Rude wondering why we are not playing with the center forward, and until Rasmus returns, Xerxes has to play. Yeah, I think I think he sees it. I think he sees it. I think he knows why we're lacking. I think a problem is the personnel though. We need to get the personnel up. We need to get the personnel. That midfield for me, we've already seen it now in the second game of the season after pressing that much. And this is a problem that we're gonna have. And I don't know how we're gonna necessarily figure it out because this team has to Erik Ten Hag has to figure out how he's going to get this team to be able to press and play how we did in the first half for 90 minutes. And I don't know if we're able to do it. I'm not sure. But if he's going to succeed, he needs to figure that out because I think we did very well in those aspects in that first half. Our problem is we cannot do it for 90 minutes. We cannot do it for 90 minutes. And Ugarte will make the difference. Casse is a good starter, but cannot finish games. I mean, at this point, I think Casse can't even. Maybe probably shouldn't even start. Um, because it'd be more beneficial that he's a little bit older. His legs are a little bit less helpful in certain aspects. So, Ugarte is ready to go, run around and play that position, and he can give you as long as you need, and run as long as you need. I'd rather keep Cass a little bit more fresh, put him in towards the end of games when the other players on the pitch, the ones that are a little bit younger, a little bit that have a little bit more legs, are a little bit more tired. I think that would probably go well as well. Not that Cass was terrible, but just if we're gonna move forward this way, then Ugarte probably has to some point take that spot. But it just showed the need for us to get him. We need a midfielder. We need another midfielder. That midfielder, after it gets tired, you're looking at it and you're like, what do you do to it? And it's you chuck on Scott McTominay. And there's no options in the back. I mean, you could put Scott there, but Scott's not gonna excel there. He isn't. So, it was a real problem. We're gonna do player ratings and all that good stuff. Smash the like button if you guys haven't already. I need to fix something real quick, so give me a second, please, and thank you. Please and what do you guys what are your main overall takeaways from the match though? Like what do you guys think? Is it good? Is it bad? Um Not if it's good or bad. That's kind of just like third grade-ish. I'm sorry. I can't sometimes I can't multitask. Excuse me. Okay. All right, I got that sorted. Very very disappointed. Yeah. I mean, but do you guys agree with what I'm saying in terms of like the first half and the second half? Like I think the first half my buddy Daniel's in here. Shout out Daniel. Kassar, how you doing, buddy? How you doing? That's my friend. How you doing? I hope you're doing all right. I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off, Daniel. I'm pissed off. We lost the match. Uh we fucking bottled it. So but I hope everything's I hope everything's well with you. I'm gonna do the player ratings, and then we'll talk a little bit more. Erik Ten Hag's made some comments. We'll talk about that as well. Um, so where are my player ratings? My player ratings are here. All right, so Andre Onana for me, I give him a 6. Don't think he was at fault for the goals. Didn't have too much to do in a lot of moments of the game. There was one or two chances that Brighton had. Ball off the crossbar. Not it was a very good chance for them, so hard for him to save. I can't put him too much at fault. I think Mazawari for me 6. He was a little bit lacking at times, but he also did do some good. Um, he did set up the nice pass to Diallo that sent him on for the goal. So there was that for me. Harry Maguire 5 today. Harry Maguire 5 because I blame him for the goal. For me, absolutely 110%. It's Maguire's fault. Absolutely. He had two separate chances to deal with that ball. And both times he did not do it. Uh, Lisandro, I'm gonna give even Lisandro, I'm gonna give a 5.5 today. I think by Lisandro Martinez standards, by Butcher standards, I don't think he was 100% up to it. I think he was lacking a little bit. I think from what I expect from him to do. Um, especially even at the end, there was a couple moments where the ball was there in front of the box or on top of the box, and I was screaming at the TV for him to step up like he usually does, take the ball, and he didn't do it. I was a little bit disappointed by Martinez today. Not extremely disappointed. 5.5 is just point 0.5, on below average, but definitely I think that he could have done better. Diego Delo, for me, I give him a 6.5. I think Delo played well. Obviously, there was the whole defensive collapse at the end. Um, but that was more of a team issue because the whole team was basically out of sync on that one. Um, and all over the place. But I think Delo did very well. When he was playing. Casemiro for me a 5. Um, I think the first half he was average. The second half he just completely died with the rest of our team. He made a few good tackles though. I'm gonna be fair to him. He did make a few good tackles, but there was moments in that second half. It was pretty much a disaster because we'd lose the ball in a bad position that we shouldn't lose because we were sloppy. And we were sloppy because we were tired, and Brighton coming with a counterattack, and the whole midfield was just caught out of possession, leaving just the defensive line. Casemiro is not getting back to get that ball for you. And it was just done. Even Kobe Manu for me today, 5.5. I think he struggled at some points. He was getting caught with the ball in possession. And I've definitely seen Kobe perform a little bit better. He did struggle, so I think he definitely could have done better on that note. 100%. So I think uh bu- 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 let's fix something. Okay. All right, back to the player ratings. I apologize, and I'm missing the chat, but I'm gonna go through it because I'm looking at a different screen, so I'm not ignoring you guys. Don't worry, just keep putting in the chats. I'm gonna come back to it in a second. So Mano, I gave a 5.5, right? Mason Mount, um, I think he did pretty well with Bruno pressing. That was what I was trying to mention earlier. And I got sidetracked. Um, I think they were doing a good job pressing. I think it helped us with the press. When he came off in the start of the second half, I think that's what contributed to the press dying a little bit. It's a difficult decision because you want Xerxes to come on. Who are you going to take off to put on to put on Xerxes. Maybe you could argue to take off Marcus Rashford and shift one of a Mason Mount or a Bruno Fernandes out on the wing. But I don't feel like you really want to do that too much. Um, so it was difficult, and this is the problem with starting both Bruno and Mount, and then having to put on a striker. We have to find that balance. We need to figure it out because I think the our pressing suffered after we put on Xerxes. It's not the same with having Xerxes and Bruno there. We, because I think Mount and Bruno they press well together. And that interchanging that they do, I think helps a lot too. So, um, Bruno, I gave him a 6. Was surprised he was substituted. I still don't understand the substitution. Erik Ten Hag has literally never substituted Bruno Fernandes in 2 total seasons and has decided to do it today. Even though, yeah, maybe he was tired, but Bruno's been tired before and he has never taken him off. So I don't understand why he did it today when we were tied 1-1 and we need a goal to get the 3 points. And our captain and our leader on the pitch that has, you know, he leads the players. And we look to collapse even more after that. The collapse was already on, and we collapsed even more. So, for me, wrong decision by Erik Ten Hag. Should have never done it unless there's he has some type of an injury that we don't know about and he couldn't play a full 90 minutes. I don't understand it. Doesn't make sense, and it's a wrong decision that he did that. Amad Diallo, I give him a 6.5. I think Amad Diallo was Amad Diallo once again, the one that we've been used to. Definitely should have scored the first chance that he had with that beautiful cross from Diego Dalot. For sure. Had to put it on target. I was very, very disappointed with that, but he made up for it with the goal that he made. And I just love Diallo's game because he's very direct. He stays confident. He's good with the dribble. And he just needs to continue what he's doing. And this was something that I mentioned. Um, you know, Marcus Rashford getting substituted, with Garnacho coming on, and I said this just recently that Marcus Rashford will lose his place. I think Marcus Rashford has been given more than enough time by Erik Ten Hag, probably too much time. A lot of people will argue, and I'm fairly confident that this season, if Diallo's performing and Garnacho is performing and they're contributing and they're performing more than Marcus and they're contributing more than Marcus will lose his spot at some point. I don't think we will go through another season like we did last season where Marcus is just always constantly playing and not getting subbed. I think that's the end of it. I think he's been given more than his chance. It's more than fair. Nobody can argue that it's not more than fair. Probably people would argue that it's too one-sided for Rashford. So, we've seen that today. Yeah, and let's see what happens goes forward because for me, Marcus Rashford didn't do enough. It seems like he's still lacking confidence, but he also seems like he's playing a little bit. I guess I would want to say restricted to his way that he wants to play. He is getting the ball. Not he is getting the ball when he is getting the ball. We're very used to him dribbling down the line, getting to the side of the box, trying to cut in, take a shot. He is trying to play more of a team role, I guess, where he's doing a little bit less of that, looking for the pass, picking his head up, not forcing the dribble as much. But I guess it's also hurting his game at the same time because that's what he excels at. So we're kind of used to it, and that's where he makes the impact from. I think Marcus needs to try and find the balance between him doing that and him, you know, playing in a team role in that aspect. But for me, Marcus didn't do enough. Was poor. Was almost a ghost. And I would give him a solid 5 today. Solid 5 today. Was well below average. Garnacho, I'd give him a 6 for the amount of time that he was on. I thought he did a couple good bits. Uh, unfortunately, scored the goal, got taken away from him. Probably would have been higher if that goal counted. So, I can't 6.5. Um, unfortunately, Scott McTominay for me, 5.5. I don't think he offered anything. He came on, didn't help out in the defense either. So yeah, Xerxes, yeah, I give him a 5.5. Um, I don't think he impacted the match the way we wanted to. He definitely didn't impact the match the way we wanted to, because technically we lost the goal because of him. But I'm not really gonna blame him for that. I feel like as a striker, he was where he was supposed to be. It was an unfortunate thing that happened, an unfortunate touch. So I can't really blame him in that aspect. I am obviously pissed off and upset that that happened, but you know, he didn't mean it. He wasn't trying to touch the ball. You could see his reaction when it happened. He knew, he was just there. It was an instinctive thing, and it was just an unfortunate thing. So I can't penalize him for that, really. Or I'm not going to penalize him. You guys could do whatever you want. Mateus Delit, I give him a 6. Anthony was on for like literally 2 seconds, so 6. And Erik Ten Hag rating for the match today, I'm gonna have to give him um a 4.5 to a 5. I disagree with the Bruno thing. Um I give him a 5. I give him a 5 because I think Garnacho coming on was correct. I think taking off Mount was questionable as well. Maybe we should have gave it a little bit more time. I think maybe he made that substitution a bit too early. Uh because I think the pressing between having when Mount was on and Bruno was on, I thought it was going well. I thought we just needed a little bit more slight adjustments. Put on Xerxes. I don't think I think it backfired actually at that moment. I think we could have used a little bit more with the pressing at that time. And the Bruno Fernandes thing was just an absolute mystery to me. So I don't understand that at all. So I'm gonna come back to the comments because I haven't seen this. Daniel asking me, what went wrong, lad? We just capitulated like we've done in the past. We ran out of gas. Um, we had a few chances. We didn't take the chances. Um, Brighton came back into the game late. They took more control. They were still on top of it. And we conceded late like we usually do. This has been a reoccurring theme. It's something that needs to be addressed. It needs to be something that's fixed. This cannot continue into the rest of the season, or we are in big trouble and we will finish outside the top 4 once again, in my opinion. Lyle saying, look, we are a level higher than last season. There are glimmers of hope. We need Rasmus back and we need to bench Rashford. We also need a midfielder, Lyle. We need a midfielder. Today, this match showed me we need that central midfielder. If we do not get Agarte in, we are in big trouble for the rest of the season. I'm telling you now, because number one, we cannot go a whole season with something like that. If we get injuries, suspensions, we're gonna be in big trouble. We lost Amrabat. Not even having Amrabat, I would have loved if we had Amrabat. As an option to bring off the bench right now. We don't we didn't even have the replacement, so we're actually minus a player. We're minus an option right now. Forget the quality. We're literally minus an option in that midfield. So we need Ugarte. We need Ugarte. That deal has to get done. That deal probably should have been done, because now, I could even argue we lost points because of that. Because to me, that the engine of our team, the engine died. The engine absolutely died. So it's really bad, really bad. Um, But I agree with those parts where you say, look, we look a level higher than last season. We did up until that second half, and we died. We don't have the stamina for it, or whatever it is. I don't know. Um, Michael, Mikel, Zachariah. New season, same old Maguire. Get him out of my club. I mean, listen, he was doing pretty well up until then. And this is why we were saying also, Get the lid in there because Maguire, as far as he was doing good, and I'm not saying just this because I blame him for the goal, but Maguire is not the future. Maguire is not the future. Maguire is not the he is not the be all and end all of how we are trying to play, of how Erik Ten Hag is trying to set up and how we're trying to do. So, um, and for me, if Martinez was in that position, which he wasn't, because Maguire was there, and if Delit was there, Delit's not letting that ball go across him one time, let alone twice. So I think, as soon as possible, you get the lid in there, put him next to Martinez, and we start moving forward with the way we're trying to go. Richard saying I watched. Oh, our lovely moderator Grace is here. Grace, how are you? Not too good, I assume, since we lost. But other than the United loss, I hope you're doing all right, Grace. Good to see you. What were we saying? Richard was saying I watched the greats from 1966. What we watched today is now my Manchester United. I mean, I feel the sentiment. Richard. I know it's a lot of disappointment. It's strong. It's a strong disappointment. And again, I'm trying to be level headed here. I really don't think we were that bad in a lot of parts of the game. I think the huge disappointment is obviously the end of the match. The way we went to go finish that match, we died out. And it's frustrating and it's annoying, and rightfully we should all be feeling pretty pissed off, pretty sad. Back to United ruining our weekend again. I'm gonna have to deal with a bunch of banter. I'm sure you guys are gonna have to deal with a bunch of banter, especially by people that didn't watch the match. I'm gonna have to deal with these rival fans bantering, talking shit. Lyle was saying bringing Scott on made sense, but taking Bruno off for Scott was a head scratcher. Well, that's what I'm saying. Taking the whole thing was taking Bruno off. It was taking Bruno off. I mean, you got to put on Scott because Scott's the only midfield option, and the midfield was dying. I mean, Manu was tired. Casemiro was tired. You could even say probably Bruno was tired, and maybe that's why he took Bruno off. But still, I mean, if you got all three of those players tired, I'm taking Casemiro off and I'm putting on Scott McTominay. Not that's gonna help too much because I don't think Scott's great defensively, but I think that's the gamble you're gonna have to take, and we need to get Ugarte in ASAP. ASAP. Lyle saying heck Sancho would do a better job than Rashford. He needs to be benched. Yeah, I mean, he's Rashford playing as poor as the last time I saw Sancho play. Not in a preseason game for Manchester United. He looks exactly like Sancho in terms of effort. Um, and 100%, I'm gonna still stand by this, and I'm gonna keep saying this. I would start lining up with Marcus Rashford on the bench. I understand that he needs to be given a chance and an opportunity, but for me right now, we're trying to start as strong as possible. And if we're gonna start as strong as possible, we should be starting the people that keep making an impact, which is Diallo and Garnacho, because every time they're on the pitch, I mean, Diallo starts strong and he plays well. Um, and he's had impacts, and every time so far that Garnacho's come off the bench, he's made a direct impact. He scored the goal. It should have been a goal. It was unfortunately taken away from him and us. So, um, sadly, when Fergie and Gill left, all that Old Trafford United DNA disappeared. We have only had flashes in the pan ever since. Well, listen, that's something that we need to figure out, right? And that's something that INEOS is trying to figure out. You guys are absolutely correct. A bit of our DNA, it's been tainted. It's been tainted because we do have moments of brilliance and flashes of the past where we make an amazing comeback, where we fight to the end, where like Manchester City against Manchester City in the FA Cup final, where nobody was really giving us too much of a chance, and we came and we pulled it out. Those parts of our DNA still exist. They are still there. The part of the DNA that we are not used to, that has infected our club, is losing matches in this manner. where we played well. Um, we went behind. We even did good enough. Speaking of our DNA, to come and tie the match. Um, it was there. It was winnable. And we lose it in that manner, and losing it in that manner is not part of what that DNA is. Because our DNA would be we would go and win that match. And part of the DNA is a bit of unluckiness. We used to have a bit of luckiness on our side. That goal would have counted somehow, some way. Would have crossed the line. You know, a millisecond before it hit Xerxes' knee, we could have gotten the goal and we would have went over. So it's just it's shit, to be honest. It's ruined my weekend, unfortunately. Uh Grace is in here. Grace is in here bigging up Brighton. Come on, Brighton. Grace. Red card to Grace. Grace, you're getting a red card, Grace. You getting a red card, Grace. What are you doing, Grace? Casemiro and McTominay red cards. Yeah, I can agree with that as well. Um, we're just saying I doubt Grace is even a woman, but maybe you should reconsider your moderators. Anyone that comes on here and says "Come on, Brighton" is not a United fan. All right, we're fighting in the chat, guys. Don't fight. Don't fight. Grace is listen. Listen, Grace is dealing. She's coping with the loss in her own way. She's coping with the loss in her own way. Richard's obviously upset. I understand it. Guys, don't fight with each other. Don't fight with each other. Don't let it go. Let it go. Grace is coping. Let Grace cope with how she's doing it. She's all right. She's all right. Let me read some Ten Hag, I guess, quotes from after the match. They were here. Let me pull them up. Um, because he probably did address some of the things that we have questions for. I'm looking at this photo here of the goal that Brighton scored, and it's just like, I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So basically, our whole entire team is in the right side of our box. The whole team. I mean, Delit's here. Delit's marking fucking nobody, right? Delit's marking nobody. I don't know who that is. Xerxes doing what Xerxes doing. Casemiro's just running around by himself. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 players on the player that's shooting the ball. I mean, just a shit goal to give up. And it cannot be allowed. Cannot be allowed. Rio Ferdinand was speaking on Brighton's space at the back post for their winning goal. You cannot allow that to happen at this level. I mean, absolutely. I mean, you can't. You can't. Rio also saying the turning point of the match was the disallowed goal. There was also a lack of concentration in defense. You can't let that happen. You can't. But that's just simple shit to say. Even Phil Jones, I guess Phil Jones is on the BBC. He's found a new job. Phil Jones saying that he said disappointing. United have lost the game on two second phase goals. They will be bitterly disappointed. But full credit to Brighton, they pushed on and probed. Yeah. So then Ten Hag. Don't know what he was asked, but here are the quotes. So Ten Hag saying, sure, he's very disappointed, especially when you have over long paths in the game, you have control, which we did. We had more possession, and I think we played pretty well in that aspect, and we are controlling the game in possession, which we did, and we were doing so well. And yeah, we got 2 unnecessary goals. Yeah, I mean unnecessary. Yeah, were they avoidable? 100%. They were absolutely 100% avoidable. Were they unnecessary? Yeah. I mean, I don't know if unnecessary is the right word to describe it. In a way, we deserved it because we didn't do what we were supposed to do. We didn't do our job, and therefore we got punished. So Ten Hag saying that is our feeling. We concede 2 soft goals where we should act better as a team, and then there you go. That's he went on to clarify it, as I just said. They're 2 soft goals. They're shit goals. They shouldn't be allowed to happen. They cannot be allowed to happen, and yeah. there's nothing more you could really say going forward on that. Ten Hag, if you protect the goal like we do, and then you drop points, and football talks to us about details, as I say, so we have to do better in such occasions. He also went on to say, before halftime, we created our chances. We had a good chance, so the best chance before halftime, I think that was from Ahmed, and was after the cross from Diogo, and also after the Mason Mount had a very good chance. Yeah, but the first half, I think we did what we were supposed to do. We just needed to step up in the second half. We didn't start off that way. We got there by equalizing, and then we capitulated, as we usually do. And this is on the manager. Ten Hag saying, I think before halftime with 3 or 4, I think good opportunities, and from there, 2 very good chances. We should go winning at halftime, and that's originally what I said. That's originally how I felt as well. Ten Hag on subbing Mason Mount. So this is the answer. If you want to know why Mason Mount was subbed, Ten Hag said he had some problems. He had an issue, so he took him out. So potential injury issue for Mason Mount, which is concerning. We can't have this. If he's not going to be fit, it was a shit buy. He can't keep going in and out of being, available and injured and all that. So just Andre Onana has made his own statements saying we have to stay together, especially when we face difficulties. We have to be always positive, because at the moment this is just the second game of the season, and that's something we have to keep in mind as well. It is only the second game of the season. Obviously we're all going to be pissed and disappointed. Um, you know, but there's plenty of time to fix these problems, turn it around. And that's what we're gonna have to be hoping for, and we have to stay positive in that way, and keep moving and look forward to the next match, which is going to be against Liverpool. We are home. It's gonna be a tough match, of course. Anything can happen. They have their new manager. Obviously, we lost in preseason, but that don't matter too much because it's preseason, so it doesn't matter too much. Onana, I guess, went to go speak to the media. So he's had some comments as well. I just, subbing the best player. It was just a bad overall thing from Erik ten Hag. So very very disappointed. Grace talking about she's angry. I'm pissed. I just cope with banter because I'll just cry otherwise. Yep, that's what they say, right, Grace? If you don't laugh, you'll cry, and sometimes you just gotta laugh, even though it might not be appropriate time to laugh. Sometimes you're just better off laughing. 100%, 100%. So, um, you don't think I'm apologize. That's what I'm saying. Don't fight, guys. It's okay. It's okay. Lyle saying it's early days and Erik ten Hag has to learn. I'm sure with the new structure there will be thoughts relayed to him. Next week we shall see if there is change. Well, hopefully by next week we have Ugarte in, ready to go, and available for the Liverpool match, because we definitely need him. We definitely need him. We need him for sure. So I think it's definitely something that needs to be addressed. Do you know what guys? I am 66 and too old to be abused by Richard. Where you go? Richard? Wait, really? Richard? What do you mean abused? Abused? It's the second game of the season. I'm chill about things. I'm not going to kick my TV just yet. Yeah, don't kick your TV yet, Grace. Don't do it. Yeah, that's what I was confused. Don't kick your TV yet, Grace. Don't do that. It's too early in the season for that. Other than that, want to nitpick about everything. If we get top 4, I'm happy. Um, I hope Richard's joking with us, because I don't know. I don't know who's abusing him. But if you're abusing him, stop abusing him. Don't abuse him. I missed something. I didn't see it. I'm just gonna check for some stuff. You know, Ten Hag made the wrong decision. Uh, deserves criticism. Anybody writing off the season or whatever based off of one game is clearly out of their mind, or just very very emotional. Um, which otherwise I understand that. And if they take it back later on, we're all humans, so it is what it is. But yeah, created chances, could have, should have won the game. And Garnacho's goal definitely hurt us. Um, but I think we still have Europa League to fall back on for Champions League entry. Plus, that's another trophy. Yeah. Listen, but that's not what we want. We want to be as competitive as possible. We want to be. We want top four. We want the Europa League. We want all that, and we should be winning matches like this. Is the point? I guess we're trying to get across. We should be winning matches like this. We shouldn't have lost this match. This is a match that we could have definitely won. We didn't do the things we had to do when it mattered most. And for that reason we lost the match, and this is why we're all angry and disappointed. So of course that's way down the line, but we need to fix problems so that we can go run. We need a run. I think we can go on a run. But yeah, we need to get Ugarte and all that good stuff. So I think we're gonna end it here, guys, because I got some things I gotta do. I gotta run. We will be back maybe Monday or Tuesday. I'll let you guys know. If there's any breaking news, obviously, like if we sign Ugarte, the Ugarte deal gets done, or if we happen to sell any players, in between the period that I decide that we're gonna go live, then obviously we will be going live at that point. Grace is saying, if a new manager comes in, do they really get more out of the players and set up the team any different to how we have set up for the last 11 years? I don't know. It's a good question, Grace. I guess it would depend on the manager. But it's too early to be talking about this. Listen, we have a full season ahead. There's gonna be ups and downs. It's early. Obviously, we're pissed because we wanted to have 2 out of 2 wins, 6 out of 6. But it's way too early to be talking about managers and this and that. Today, the manager got it wrong. We also had an unfortunate thing that took the leading goal away from us as well. So, it happens. It happens. We take it on the chin. We go into next game. We're playing Liverpool. We're playing our rivals. And listen, the vibe can be shifted around very, very easily by next week when we go to play Liverpool. And if we beat Liverpool, these vibes will be very, very different. And we'll be looking at United in a very, very different perspective. So, digest the match, calm a little bit, go eat some good food or something like that. If the sun's still out, go get a little bit of sun. It's good for you. And we'll regroup and we'll be all right. I think there was some positives to take away from the match as well. So it's not all bad. It's not all cloudy. It's not all dark skies. But yeah. But yeah. But I'm gonna end it here, guys. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Stay on the lookout. Thank you to everybody that liked and subscribed. And keep your heads up and don't worry about it. If anybody talks to Richard, let him know that we're all right. Thank you guys. Catch you later.